quick Devar Torah. One of the interesting aspects of this week's Parsha is that the main thing that Moshe is upset about is the sin of the scouts, the sin of the spies. You'd think, wait a minute, didn't the sin of the golden calf take place before? Wasn't that even more egregious? So one of the reasons is, while the sin of the golden calf was against God, the sin of the spies was not only against God, it was against the land and the people. That the spies did not believe we had the ability to conquer the land. Whereas, except for Joshua and Caleb. But, they did not believe that we'd have that mission. And it's sort of like to juxtapose that to American history. In 1804, right after Louisiana Purchase, where the United States suddenly had all this vast territory, President Jefferson commissioned Lewis and Clark to explore it and give a report of what they saw. And they saw a lot of danger, they saw a lot of hardship, they saw all these things. But they said, but we can take control. In other words, it is within our ability. So like that's one of the problems is the sin of the spies was we cannot take control. It's too great for us. Lewis and Clark saw, and by the way, what they saw was untamed land. No.
Brooklyn Beach.
But they saw all this untamed land, the dangers inherent. They were actually attacked by a bear, stuff like that. But not a Russian bear, but an American bear. But anyway, the point is they said, in spite of all this, in spite of all these dangers, in spite of all the hardships, we can, it's our destiny to take this land. And it's basically was the foundation of what we call manifest destiny. That was the destiny of the United States to be in control of all the land from sea to sea. And if you read the reports, by the way, of the initial pioneers of the period, they faced a lot of hardships. It was not easy to have a homestead in places like Oklahoma or North Dakota. I mean, just go down the list of these different places, and these people were willing to go out and make a homestead. But they also believed it was their destiny. It was, I can do it, which is what God was trying to tell the Jewish people. After 40 years in the wilderness, the Jews, first the spies were 2 years in the wilderness. And they said, oh, we can't do it. And Moses is now speaking to them. It's the 40th year. It's about a month before he passes away. Remember, the entire Sefer of Deuteronomy takes place 1 month before the end. And Moses is just going over. And he's saying to them, yes, there will be difficulties when you enter the land. You won't have miracles that you've had in the desert. You won't have the protection, the divine protection that we've had for these 40 years, because the Jews were protected by God's divine presence. You won't have that. You will have miracles. They'll just be more hidden. But in spite of all that, it's our mission to take the land. It's our mission to set up a society based on the Torah, to show the world that, yes, you can do this, but you can also have an ethical and moral society that is based on godly principles, the Torah. And that is what the spies missed. So while Lewis and Clark were united in yes we can do it. It'll take some grit and hard work, but we can get it done. Most of the spies believe no, we can't, and that was their mistake. And that's what Moshe is getting across to the Jewish people. Once you lose the concept that this is part of your mission, then you've lost everything. Something to think about.